I'm genuinely surprised and impressed that the 49ers didn't hire Gus Bradley. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Welcome to a very important special episode of the Cohn Zone. That's Lowell Cohn. I'm Grant Cohn. The 49ers hired a defensive coordinator yesterday. It's not Gus Bradley. They went outside the organization and brought in Raheem Morris, who's friends with Kyle Shanahan, and he has his own ideas. He has his own expertise. Let's break down the pros and cons of this hiring, starting with the pros, Dad.
Well, look, the pros is they didn't hire Gus Bradley. I don't know Gus Bradley. I'm sure he's a nice man. I would like him. I don't think he's a very distinguished defensive coordinator. And if they went for him, it would be because he was in the organization. It was easy and they didn't have to try hard. But it would have been a real falling off from Robert Saleh. So that's really a big deal. The other good thing is Raheem Morris has a very good reputation, but not all good. So he's not an upgrade over Saleh. I don't think he's equal to Saleh, but he's legit. What do you think, Iggy?
I think he's a good coach. He's been a head coach twice, and when people talk about him who've been around him, like Sean McVay and other coaches that respect him, used to be Sean McVay's defensive coordinator when they won a Super Bowl. He always talks about what a great leader he is. He really can lead a group of men. He can connect with NFL players, and that's great because Robert Saleh could do that as well. And I think on a team that has Kyle Shanahan as a head coach, you need a defensive coordinator who can do a lot of those things. So that's great. In terms of his acumen as a defensive coach, I mean, the Falcons gave up 23.6 points per game last season, and the Niners, with all their injuries, gave up 21.8. So I don't know. But the good thing about it, I think what's interesting is that he signals a complete philosophical shift for Kyle Shanahan and the Niners defense. Because forever, Saleh and D'Amico, it's all been about not giving up big plays. And we praised Robert Saleh last year and said he did a great job. We don't know how Kyle Shanahan feels. The Niners were last in sacks, and they were second to last in interceptions on defense. This guy, they were second in sacks. They had 57 sacks in Atlanta last year. The Niners had 20, and they had 16 interceptions. The Niners had 6. So it seems like the Niners are trying to get more big plays from their defense, and they're willing to give up some yards along the way. That's a big shift.
Iggy, will he have to do the wide 9 thing?
Probably. I bet he'll because Bosa wants to do it, and they have this defensive line coach who specializes in it. I bet he'll take the wide 9 and then add onto it so that he can have a 5-man front the way he would like to have it. But I bet Bosa's going to have his hand in the dirt. They're going to have to answer that. I don't really know the answer to that. I can sort of imagine that he'll try to incorporate Bosa into what he would do, but he probably has to build something new.
Well, is this an issue for the 49ers going forward?
Yeah, I think it is an issue for the 49ers. It was an issue for Steve Wilks. You brought him in. He was a 3-4 guy, and you wanted him to work with Chris Kasarik and Nick Bosa, and Bosa seemed to never really like him. And one of the things about Wilks was that he liked to bring pressure and blitz. That's what Raheem Morris likes to do. And the first time a blitz didn't work and it cost the Niners a big play, it seemed like they blamed Steve Wilks and held it against him. So the idea of creating pressure and bringing pressure sounds good until it burns you. Like, will the Niners allow Raheem Morris to be Raheem Morris?
Right. So that's a question which is unanswered, and we'll have to see. I would hope, again, they've hired this man for his expertise. I would hope they don't try to mold him in what they want him to be, that they would let him be who he is.
Also, why are you building your defense around Nick Bosa anymore? He's almost 29. He's coming off his 3rd ACL tear. You don't know how good he's going to be. You don't know how much longer he's going to be here. Maybe it's time to start building a defense with other players in mind.
Iggy, it's not only that. When does a player have as much clout as a coach in determining the coverage?
What he likes.
Is he the coach? What he likes. So, no,
Yeah.
no, we'd like you to do this.
Yeah.
You liked it. Now we want you to do this.
Yeah. I remember when the Niners drafted Alden Smith, he was a 4-3 defensive end in college who had his hand in the dirt in the 3-point stance. And then Vic Fangio drafted him and said, hey, guess what? You're now an outside linebacker and you're rushing from a 2-point stance, standing up. And Alden Smith said, great. Thank you. It was great.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Nick Bosa's team.
No.
Now, Iggy, but there are certain downsides to Raheem.
Yeah. I mean, his run defense wasn't particularly good last year. He's never really had a dominant defense before. The 49ers faced the Falcons this season and just ran right through them. They couldn't stop the run whatsoever. So, yes, he's going to try to bring in more sacks and interceptions, but it seems like he gives up more points and big plays than Robert Saleh, and depends what you want. It'll be more aggressive.
Now he was working with the Falcons, which is not
True.
not a great team. So again, it's a little murky, but I want to say overall, considering what they could have done, I think they did very well, and I want to praise them.
Going and getting Jim Schwartz would have been pretty cool because he's not Kyle's friend and he's older and he's better, but he's still under contract with Cleveland and it would be kind of tricky to get him. And maybe he and Kyle wouldn't get along. Raheem Morris is available. He's good. He's not a huge downgrade from Robert Saleh, and he's friends with Kyle, so at least they should work well together. Maybe a big reason that Kyle and Steve Wilkes didn't work so well together is that they didn't really know each other.
Yeah, and now Wilkes got fired by the Jets. Maybe we overrated him.
Possible.
Yeah.
So they got the best guy available.
Yeah, and I want to praise the Niners and I want to wish him well.
Yeah, good luck, Raheem. Now, Dad, since we last did a show, Eddie DeBartolo made some waves at the premiere of the Rise of the 49ers. You heard what he said. He was asked how frustrating would it feel if he went 31 years without winning a Super Bowl, and he said, I wouldn't. What'd you think of what Eddie said?
I thought, first of all, a 2-word answer that's that powerful is a big deal. I mean, good for you, Eddie, right? He didn't go into a whole spiel. He stated it as if it were a fact. And, maybe so. And what he was saying, it was a condemnation of the group that owns it. I mean, a condemnation of his nephew, whom he loves, because he's told me. But 31 years, and he was saying, never happened with me. I mean, he won every 5 or every 6 years or something like that. So it was a real judgment on the group. I'm going to call it the group that has run this team since he got run out. I don't think he could have been any more blunt than that. And he's correct. I believe if Eddie still had the team, they would have won more than 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
I do. And Iggy, it's his criticizing his sister, his nephew, and mostly his brother-in-law.
What's so interesting about Eddie to me is I think my generation and people younger don't really understand why he's not the owner anymore. I mean, we understand that he got in a gambling scandal and that the NFL suspended him, but he's in the Hall of Fame. It's not like he's been banned from football. He was suspended, but the suspension is over, and the Yorks own the team. As someone who covered it, do you have any insight into like what happened?
I'm very vague on legal things, but my impression is that, and if I'm wrong, please, John York, forgive me if I'm wrong about this, but that it could have worked out that after his suspension, Eddie could have had the team back. But I think John York didn't want that to happen. That he said, no, I want the team. Now, again, if I'm wrong, I don't mean this in any vicious way, but that's how I understand it. And I think that would look, Eddie doesn't really like John York very much. It's okay, neither do Bill Walsh. But I think that may be at the root of it, that he felt that he had a chance to have the team again, and this happened. The other thing, Iggy, is I wrote, did a thing on Substack about this topic. I mean, it's a very important topic when a five-time champion really puts down this group that's been there for 31 years and not achieved. And I got a lot of messages or comments saying I was all wet because, sure, Eddie won all these things, but he's a convicted felon, and he, because of him, he lost the team. It's true. He didn't have the team. He doesn't have the team anymore. Still, the fact of his biography doesn't mean that his opinion is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
His opinion is that, yeah, if I had the team, I think we would have won more. That could be a true statement, even if he got into trouble. And what I would think, which I learned in Philosophy 101 at Lafayette College in 1962, was you have to argue with a man's argument, not with his person. That's called an ad hominem argument. Eddie's a bum, therefore he's full of shit. I believe if he had the team, he would have won more Super Bowls. I believe as an owner, he was better than these guys. And a lot of people said, well, he didn't have a salary cap. A lot of teams have the salary cap and win the Super Bowl. They've had the salary cap,
$300 million now. I mean, it's not that hard to work around. It was 25 years ago. It's not now.
Yeah, and Philadelphia had a salary cap and they won the Super Bowl last season. So they all have a salary cap.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah. If Eddie were still the owner, I guarantee the team would still be in San Francisco.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. Iggy, absolutely. Look, they're down in a place they shouldn't be. Now you said, well, the New York teams are in New Jersey. That's them.
Yep.
This is San Francisco.
Yep.
The Warriors found places to be in San Francisco. The Giants found places to be in San Francisco. They should be in San Francisco. So they not only took the team apparently away from Eddie, they took the team away from the city, from the focal point.
And of those three teams, that's the original San Francisco franchise, not the Warriors and Giants.
No, gosh, Warriors came from Philly and the Giants came from New York.
Yeah.
So, and here's what's going to happen, Iggy. Long after I'm gone, they're going to say, oh, we're going to move back to the city, move back to San Francisco to find our roots. That's going to be the campaign, the Ed campaign, to find our roots. They're not going to stay down there. Plus, they don't get along with the city of Santa Clara. I mean, this is not a news bulletin. City of Santa Clara, the mayor hates them. And
yes.
There is a lot of acrimony between the city and the team. And they have that electrical thing that's going there. Maybe if they move to the city, they can make sure.
Definitely not a big deal. Definitely nothing to see there.
So I'm telling you, I don't know when it's going to happen, but they're going to move back to San Francisco. I mean, even now, you see all the ads for the Super Bowl. It kind of kills me. You see it on TV, and say it's in Santa Clara, but they show the Golden Gate Bridge. They show Nob Hill. They show the Bay Bridge. Come on, right?
Yeah, the fact
the Lombard Street, Street.
The fact that fans and media have to shuttle back and forth between Santa Clara and San Francisco all week is, a testament to the Yorks. That's what you did. The fact that the NFL has to pretend that Santa Clara and San Francisco are right next to each other is because of the Yorks. This should be a whole presentation to the world. What a great city San Francisco is. But you moved. You left.
Yeah. Poor Santa Clara. I have nothing. I have a wonderful university. It's a cute little town. It's a town. So anyway, it's a town. That's part of their legacy, right? They haven't won anything in 31 years. They're in Santa Clara.
It's like, did you get lost? How did you end up there? All right, this is some interesting news. Maybe it's nothing, but today the 49ers promoted Al Guido from president to CEO. Both of us know Al Guido. He's the nicest guy. Whenever I see him, he says, Grant, how was your dad? Would you tell your dad that I love him? Would you tell him that I say hi? So, Al, if you're watching, we both say hi. And congratulations. I was thinking this, like, someone asked me, what does this mean? I don't know. It's a promotion for Al Guido and is probably a raise as well. But then I was thinking, well, now there's no president of the 49ers. And maybe someone could get promoted to that position. Do you think it's we were talking last week about how, maybe the Niners need a new general manager. Right now, John Lynch is the general manager. Do you think that with 1 year left on his deal and no extension reported, do you think that it's possible that he could get a promotion to president and the Niners could bring in a new general manager that way?
Well, let's say I don't know what they're thinking, but it certainly opens the door to that. In other words, you take Lynch and you kick him upstairs. It seems
Correct.
like you've given him a promotion, but actually you've put him out of the way. They did that with Elway in
They did that
Denver.
with Elway. Just for people who don't remember, he was the general manager of the Broncos from 2011 to 2020, and then in 2021 they gave him the promotion to president of football operations. Then in 2022 he was a consultant, and then in 2023 he was gone.
Yeah. So there's precedent for this, and these people are very shrewd. So
Mhm.
we're not saying this is what their plan is or what's going to happen, but it's possible now. uh, Grant and I have both questioned how really good Lynch is at getting draft picks, and especially in the high rounds, Iggy.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been very savvy about that. He seems, in many ways, I'll tell you what he seems like: to be a face man, to represent the organization, which he does well. And I think he keeps peace, PEACE, peace among the various players and factions in the organization. He's a peacemaker, and that's important. John McVay with Walsh was that way as well, but Walsh had himself and Rosano, Tony Rosano, who was really good at personnel. I don't know that Lynch is at that level, so he may be being kicked upstairs, and my attitude would be good. Not only is this possible that it's happening, but if it's happening, I think it's they would have made two moves. Getting Raheem Morris is a good move. Kicking him upstairs and getting a hardcore personnel man would be good. So yeah, it's possible and it would be good.
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if the fact that they haven't given him an extension, he's entering a lame duck year, is telling to me. Unless they're going to announce it any day. The Rams just extended Sean McVay and Les Snead, and they announced it this morning. The Niners haven't done anything like that yet, which is interesting. I mean, the Niners just won 12 games. They won a playoff game, but they have a lot to prove, and we've talked about it. They didn't develop a whole young core this last offseason. They didn't get younger. They're still kind of holding on to what they have, and they need to draft their way out of this to catch the Seahawks and the Rams. So what they could do is they could promote John Lynch, who has 10 years of a resume as a drafter. It's not great. And they could get someone from outside the organization, although it's already February, the combine's in a few weeks. It's getting a little late for that. You got to have your draft board set, or they could promote someone from within their own organization. There's a name I want to throw out. His name is Ethan Waugh. He was a scout for 17 years for the Yorks. Then he went to Jacksonville and was the assistant GM under Trent Baalke for 3 years. Then Baalke got fired last year, and Ethan Waugh came back to the Niners and is listed as a personnel executive. So he could be someone who was an outsider, who comes back, who has some experience. I don't know. There are candidates out there, even inside the Niners organization.
One other thing I'd like to point out in the postmortem in the postseason news conference, Lynch was almost given his resume, Iggy. Remember that?
Yep.
He was saying we have all of our draft picks from last draft are still on the team. That's like saying, I did a good job. Pay
Yeah.
attention to me. Isn't that what it's like, Iggy?
He
I
did
did
more.
a
He was
good job.
like, we lost a lot of players last year, and that just shows how envious the rest of the league is with the team that we've put together. Everyone wanted our players, and so we lost guys. Well, what do you want us to do? It just shows how good we were.
Yeah. So he's tooting his own horn.
Yep.
Self praise. Self praise
Which is not a good sign. It's usually a sign of weakness or instability. Yep.
Yeah, you want other people to praise you. You're above praising yourself. We could be misinterpreting all of this, but it seems like he's a little nervous about his position with good reason.
Yeah, and I think that the Yorks have shown they're not like DeBartolo who would make a bold, shocking move. I think they kinda wanna go with consensus, and if fans are saying, "We really like what's going on here, we like Kyle Shanahan, but something needs to change, and we all notice that the drafting isn't good, and we would accept John Lynch being replaced," I think the Yorks would say, "Okay." As long as it's not an unpopular move, it might be the right thing to do, so we'll
And
just see if they do that in the next few weeks.
it would be a way for Lynch to save face and for the ownership to save face if
Yes,
they promote
because
him.
he's a Hall of Famer, and he's done good things for them, and they don't wanna they've never really been the type of organization that wants to kick someone out or embarrass someone since the Harbaugh debacle.
Yeah, he's been a good soldier for them. He has.
Yes,
He's been a good
he
soldier
has.
for them. Yeah, no
And he
question
still
about it.
could have a role and a use for the organization as doing the same thing he does. He's you called him a face man. I would call him a face man. He could be a face man as a president. He doesn't have to be the general manager.
Yeah.
He
I
can still
wanna come
talk at
back
press conferences.
I wanna come back to El Guido for a minute.
Sure.
Um, I really like El Guido. I wanna explain, he's from the Jersey Shore, and, Bruce Springsteen, he's from there, he talks that way.
Mhm.
I'm from Brooklyn, where we grew up in similar he's an Italian culture, I'm a Jewish culture. Whenever I talk to Al Guido, I really feel we understand each other, and we giggle at each other a lot. So, aside from what's may or may not be going on with John, Al, mazel tov, congratulations. I'm glad you got this promotion.
What I wanna say is I've been around the Yorks in this organization for 15 years, and he's one of the nicest guys in the organization, maybe the nicest, and what's I've met Carmen Policy a few times. Carmen Policy is, like, the most charming, nicest guy you've ever met, at least the way I don't know who he is privately, but at least to me or to everyone I've ever seen, he's the most charming person. He tells the stories, the life of the party, and he's the most generous guy. I think that was part of the whole Niners winning with class thing in the '80s and
And
'90s, him.
that was
The
him.
closest thing the Yorks have, the closest thing that this organization has to that is Al. And
I
I don't
agree.
know how much he's involved in football the way Carmen was. He's probably more on the business side, but it's always good when he's out in front for this organization. He represents them well.
Yeah, and even during training camp, when you're on the sideline during workouts, he's walking around talking to everybody. He's a wonderful ambassador. And again, I'm not deeply friendly with Al. I know him, in certain situations. He strikes me as a real down home, down to earth, sincere guy. So I really like him.
And one of the things that was cool about the DeBartolo Carmen Pasa years was that they were, Italians. And there was a very Italian thing about the 49ers. And it's cool that Guido's there. You got to have Guido in the 49ers front office. You got to. Have to.
You know, Iggy, before them, the Morbidos owned it. It's been an Italian franchise. And I want to remind everybody that Iggy's mom, Dawn, my wife, was half Italian. Her mother's last name was DiMarco. Iggy is the Jewish guy who is one quarter Italian. He's been to Italy. He's met the cousins over there.
It's true. Yeah,
And I love him.
and when I'm in therapy, sometimes with my therapist, I talk about harnessing my Italian side.
Oh, you
He's like,
do?
be more Italian.
Yeah,
True.
you don't want to be a neurotic
No,
Jewish
you
guy
don't.
like me. No, I got that cornered. You don't need that.
I got enough of it.
I got enough of it. Yeah, you got enough of it from me. That's
Hey, real
harness
quick
your
before we move,
Italian side.
yeah, and the Niners are embracing their Italian side as well. All right, before we move on, we got to shout out this week's sponsor, 1-800-CONTACTS. Ever had that last pair of contacts panic? I know I have, or worse, been completely out and stuck wearing those bulky glasses you haven't touched in years. Now I don't even worry about it because my next set is always on the way from 1-800-CONTACTS. They're the only major contact lens retailer that lets me renew my prescription online so I can get my contacts fast. 1-800-CONTACTS has fast free shipping and delivers the same contacts my doctor prescribes right to my door, all without ever leaving home. For over 30 years, 1-800-CONTACTS has been the leader in online contact lens delivery with millions of contacts in stock and award-winning customer service. Here's what sets them apart from everyone else. They offer fast free shipping on every order and have over 100 million contact lenses in stock, ready to ship from their distribution centers across the country. Free returns and exchanges means you can order confidently. They even offer unbeatable perks like free torn lens replacement. They provide a way to renew your contact lens prescription from home with their online vision exam, Express Exam. It takes less than 10 minutes and gives you a doctor-issued prescription you can use to buy contact lenses. No other major retailer makes prescription renewal this easy. Getting contacts doesn't have to be a hassle. Let 1-800-CONTACTS get you the contact lenses you need right now. Order online at 1-800-CONTACTS.com or download the free 1-800-CONTACTS app today. All right, Dad, this is going to really amuse you.
Hold on. I like this.
Talk to me.
So the company is called 1-800-CONTACTS?
The company is called 1-800-CONTACTS, and you could call them or you could get the app, and they just send the contacts to your door, so you don't got to do it. It makes it easy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's called, I just want to make sure that you know it's called 1-800-CONTACTS. I want to say something else. In my life, which I'm now retired from that life, I never had a sponsor. You have sponsors.
Isn't that pretty
And
cool?
good sponsors. I like this
Great
1-800-CONTACTS.
Yeah.
So you actually have sponsors.
Yeah, we didn't get 1-800-SCHMONTACTS on this show. We got 1-800-CONTACTS, the leader.
I just wrote this stuff. And, listen, I got to tell you, sometimes I'd write stuff in the Chronicle or the Press Democrat people would see my stuff and it would go out on the New York Times wire and it would, show up in New Jersey. My articles would show up all over the place on the New York Times wire. I never got a penny for it because I was owned. Iggy, I was owned by the Chronicle and the Press Democrat. You're owned by yourself. You got
nice
sponsors.
I got spots. Remember when Murph first got the morning gig at KMBR? He used to be, he's right, the Press Democrat. And we'd be listening to him and because he's a family friend. And he'd be doing sponsor stuff for like BMW of Marin.
Yeah.
Man, he's really made it. Look at him go. I never knew he had it in him. But now I'm doing it too.
Wow. I got to tell you, I'm impressed.
Thanks, Dan. Did you like, did I read that pretty well?
I want to tell you, you're getting better.
Oh, getting better. I want to have a little bit more,
you're slowing
modulation.
down and there's more, and you're emphasizing the right syllables and the right words. So 1-800-CONTACTS, I know he's my son, but I thought he did a really good job for you. And I think you've really improved over the years.
I appreciate it, Dad. It takes reps.
And you got most of the reps. You get most of the reps.
I got the mental reps. I got the physical reps. I got the reps. All right, Dad. This is some good stuff. There's a rumor going around online for the last couple of weeks that the Niners would be open to bringing back Deebo Samuel. As you know, Brandon Ayuk doesn't seem to be walking back through that door, and Jawan Jennings is a free agent, and he could get $20 million a year. Deebo just went to Washington and didn't play that well. He could be affordable, and they know him. They know him, and he knows them. Dad, what do you think?
I think it would be the worst possible move they could make. It would be like promoting Gus Bradley from within. It would be lazy, and it would give the wrong message. It would tell the players in that locker room, this guy was a pain in the ass his last season with us. We're bringing him back. Mm-hmm. This guy's not really a dynamic player anymore. We're bringing him back. It tells the locker room we're looking to the past, not to the future.
Ooh, that's true.
That's what it tells them. It would be, and he's not that good to deserve it. It would be everything wrong. Again, Iggy, I think they should never bring him back for a million reasons. And again, I think they should get rid of Juszczyk because he represents the past or a present, which is not the present they want. They need to move on from these quote unquote core players who no longer deliver. Where are the goddamn young guys who kick ass? Juszczyk isn't one and Deebo isn't one. No, I'm 100% against it. And it would be depressing for the players, for the young players. How do I get ahead when this schmuck is coming back?
Well freaking put. I 100% agree. And I'm glad that you compared it to defensive coordinator search. We just praised you for not hiring Gus Bradley and not taking the easy way out. Because that seems like it was probably the plan, but then Raheem Morris became available, which you couldn't predict, and he's better. So you got him, and now you're going to have to change your defense. There'll be some concessions. They already lost their DB coach, Daniel Bullocks, because Raheem Morris wanted to bring in his own. and he most likely will. So good, that's all good. Do that on offense. Why won't you do that on offense? Your offense is so old. The defense has a bunch of young players. Some of them could develop into good ones, really good ones. But you're not even trying.
Yeah, but again, they haven't done that yet. It's just a rumor. So I hope it never goes past being a rumor, Iggy. It would be dreadful. And even their good players on offense, someone I really admire, like Christian McCaffrey, flat out admire Iggy. I, if they run their offense through him again, it's again reaching to the past or living in a flawed present. You have to be dynamic and move ahead. Um, I think next season the defense is going to be better than the offense because the offense it's in an old age home.
Ooh.
Say we're going to have Jello with dinner. We're going to have early dinner, the senior special. We're going to have tea with milk and a little sugar if you want it. It'd be at 4:30, 4:45. And there'll be Jello. You have a choice of the green or the red Jello afterward.
Yeah.
That's where their offense
And then we'll do
is
activities after that. We could do pin the tail on the donkey.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh. Yeah, and then some people are like, well, George Kittle's coming back. When?
Yeah.
When he's 34? Yeah. Defense going to be better than the offense. I like that prediction.
Oh, Iggy, they're going to bring back. I'm assuming they're going to be healthy. Two great players. One clearly a Hall of Fame player, and I'm talking about the linebacker. Some of the young players will improve, and Michael Williams will be back. And I'm hoping this coach can really deliver on offense. Iggy, I'm telling you, this team, they should use walkers. They should be on walkers. The left tackle.
Funny, we're talking about bringing these guys back and looking to the past. It would be so cool to finally, instead of bringing back Debo, to actually trade someone who is getting toward the end, the way the Niners did with Joe Montana. If there's one move I would like the Niners to do this often, like a bold move, it would be to trade Christian McCaffrey. I think now is the perfect time to do it. He's got a couple years left on his contract. He is almost 30, and he had 450 touches last year. There's a high probability he'll break down midway through the season, and you'll get nothing. Now is the time you could trade him for something. I think they should.
It's a very intriguing idea. So let's link. I didn't know you were going to bring this up. What could they get for him?
That's a good question. When they traded for him 3 years ago, when he was really good, they gave up a second, a third, and a fourth. So now, at almost 30 years old, maybe a third? What do you think?
Maybe a third or a fourth, and maybe another player. Okay.
Yeah.
And now here's the more important question. Will they do it?
Oh, absolutely not. They won't even consider it, Dad.
They won't consider it.
They won't even consider it.
Okay. If you were the general manager, would you consider trading Bosa?
I would consider trading Bosa, but that's a little bit more difficult considering he's coming off the torn ACL. But if a team were to make an offer, I would absolutely entertain that. Yes. Yes.
Assuming he's healthy, what could you get for him?
Boy. I don't know if you could get a first-round pick for him anymore because of the third ACL tear. Maybe a second, high second.
Why would a high second be good in exchange for him? What would you gain?
You would gain a young player with his whole career ahead of him who hasn't torn his ACL 3 times.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Now, the Niners are terrible at drafting, but maybe if they promote John Lynch because of all the great things he's done and bring in someone else to pick the players, that could be a worthwhile thing to do.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
But I think the overall message we're giving is certain star players who we and fans identify as the essence of the 49ers are in a rational business would perhaps be available. They should not be untouchable.
The Niners are way too much like the Warriors. Like all your untouchable players are guys who've been on the team for 6, 7, 8 years. All the best players on the Seahawks are guys they've drafted in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Essentially. And that's not the Niners.
And there's one big difference between the Niners and the Warriors, although it's a very apt comparison you're making. The Warriors won 4 championships.
So you can understand, and they have the greatest player of all time, or one of them. So you can understand why they'd hold on to this for so long, especially in 2022 when they won another championship unexpectedly when it seemed like their window had closed. So they're holding on to that. What are the Niners holding on to? Coming close?
Yeah.
You think
And
you
I
shake up
think
the other team
that's
this year?
Iggy. I think, yes, I do. And I think what Eddie was saying with the 31 years, it wasn't good enough for me to come close.
Correct.
And I think he was saying coming close is really too far away.
Yep. And it seemed like when he would come close, he liked to make the decision to shake things up to get over the hump, whereas Jed York is kind of just paralyzed.
Seems like it.
J Rob 80 says, was it really a fair statement from Eddie D? Jerry Jones of the same ilk hasn't won another Super Bowl. Would the league have passed by Eddie as it did Jerry? I think
Um,
Jerry's changed. I don't think Jerry has the same burning desire to win a Super Bowl anymore. I feel like he likes running a business.
yeah. Whenever I talk to Eddie, he's has great mental acuity. He's full of, I'm going to say, piss and vinegar. That's what he said. I think it was a fair statement. Yeah. And listen, it was a fair statement because they haven't won jack in 31 years. What are you supposed to
Yeah.
praise them for that? You're supposed to say, "Oh, you tried hard. I know you didn't win anything. You went to the 2 Super Bowls and you blew it, sure. Well, you went to the 3 Super Bowls, right, Iggy?
Blew
Since
all
then,
three of them.
you blew all 3 of them, but you get a participation trophy. That's what it's all about." No, no, they
I
haven't
mean,
won jack in 31 years.
in your own division, the Rams have won a Super Bowl, and their organization, their team is in a better place than yours. The Seahawks are on the verge of their second Super Bowl since you opened up this stadium. What's your excuse? Bucks have won Super Bowls. What are you waiting for? Corey Coleman says, "What's your guys' Super Bowl picks and why? Much love, go Hawks." All right, Dad, let's talk Super Bowl.
Okay. All
What do
right.
you?
Here's
Yeah, what do you expect?
here's the thing.
Yeah,
I would love to say I know what's going to happen. I could bullshit you like on one of these talk shows on TV. Well, so and so's going to win. I don't know. I mean, here's what I know. I know that Seattle is in the NFC West, so I'm familiar with them. And the
yeah,
Niners played them 3 times this season. I've really learned about the coach. I've learned about the offensive coordinator who, God help him, may become the head coach of the Raiders. So I'm familiar with that team. I know what's good about them, and I know their potential flaws. I don't see New England that much, Iggy. They're all the way out there in the AFC. When I know about them is their coach did a hell of a job. I mean,
yeah.
Vrabel,
Vrabel.
holy mackerel, what a wonderful job he did. I know they have a dynamic, fun young quarterback that may. I know that. I don't know that much about the team. So, Iggy, I'm inclined to pick Seattle. But I also know that in big Super Bowls, as in big fights, funny things happen.
Yeah,
All of a sudden, you get in the ring with them or on the field with them, and it doesn't look the way you thought it would look. So
yeah.
I'm picking Seattle, but if New England handles them, if New England wins, I wouldn't be surprised at all. How about you?
I wouldn't be surprised. Let's try to work it out in our heads. What New England has going for them, you already laid it out. Great coaching staff. Mike Vrabel is a great head coach. And if he wins a Super Bowl, you could argue he did something that Belichick never did, which was win one without Tom Brady. So he's really good. He did this in his first year. Josh McDaniels is a good offensive coordinator. Well-coached team that they have the better quarterback. Drake May is much more dynamic than Sam Darnold. And their defense is the best defense the Seahawks have faced in a few weeks. Because the last 3 games the Seahawks have played have been against the Rams and the Niners and the Niners. And the Niners defense wasn't great, and the Rams defense wasn't great. So now they're facing a defense that can stop the run, that has a really good secondary and a good coordinator, a good coach. So big test for Seattle. That being said, the Seattle's defense is so good. And the Patriots, they have the quarterback, but you can't name their running back. You can't name their receivers. You can't name their tight end. They don't have a lot around them. They have a good coordinator, but this defense is just so good. I think the Seahawks are gonna make Drake May's life miserable. That's what I think.
Okay. You say Seattle has a great defense. Do you think the Rams think that Seattle has a great defense?
No, that's fair. That's fair. But the Rams do have that quarterback and those receivers and the tight ends and the running back. They have much better players than the Patriots do, in my opinion. Patriots have the quarterback, but nothing else much around them.
Okay. Okay. And they have to come
Maybe I'm
together.
wrong.
So,
Maybe freaking Stephon Diggs will go for 150 yards, but he's been giving them like 20 and 30, and that's their number one guy. He's 31. I
and
don't know.
Seattle has that one guy in Jigba.
Really
Holy
good,
mackerel! What a player! I mean,
and
Iggy,
their
what a
running backs
player!
really good. Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The, they used to have the Chardonnay, but they don't have him anymore, right?
Well, that's what they say. I mean, Chardonnay can be a little overrated. It's a little too buttery, too oaky.
So, you're picking Seattle?
Big in Seattle. I just think
Okay.
I've picked against him both rounds. And every time it's like, well, they're clearly the better team. I just don't trust Sam Darnold. To me, they're clearly the better team, and I'm beginning to trust Sam Darnold.
Okay. Here's what I want to say at the emotional level. I find the game interesting, and I will watch it. Okay. I find the game interesting,
Mhm.
but it's not like we're talking about the Niners in a game. When
No.
we talk about the Niners in a game, like I'm revving up, I'm driving down the freeway at 150 miles an hour. All the synapses in my brain are firing. I'm really deeply interested. I'm kind of interested in this game. I have to admit. And someone will win and someone will lose. And afterward, I'll open a bottle of wine and have a nice dinner and not think about it anymore. I'm sorry. Do you feel the way I do, or you're a pro and I'm not? I'm an amateur now.
No,
What about
it's the Seahawks and the Patriots. I am interested in the Seahawks mostly because they play in the Niners division, and what they do, it has implications for the 49ers. I could care less about the Patriots. Oh, I mean, cool story, but they're kind of boring, and they're in the AFC East, and I don't care what they do. And if they win, great, whatever.
Okay, here's another question. Let's try to look at this from a 49ers point of view. Win or loss on Seattle's. If they win, if Seattle wins, what's the implication for the 49ers?
Uh oh man. If you win, it's humiliating because your chief divisional rival now gets to celebrate and pop champagne on your field in your locker room. The Seahawks are using the Niners home locker room this year. It's like not only could you not accomplish it, they accomplished it on your field in your house. It's bad. I think the
It,
Niners would prefer the Patriots to win.
if Seattle wins, it's like someone sleeping in your bed.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
What are the implications if New England wins?
Well, I don't think New England means anything to the Niners. It would mean Seattle losing, which would be just another hot shot coach who couldn't finish the job. He'd be sort of in the Kyle Shanahan realm, Mike McDonald.
Right. It might bring Seattle a little bit down toward the Niners level, although
Yeah.
they always kill the Niners when they play them. I think
It's
from
like,
the
hey, yeah, the
Niners,
Niners have had great teams and lost Super Bowls. Maybe the Seahawks aren't so special.
yeah, exactly. So probably the better outcome for the psychology of the Niners would be the Patriots winning.
Yes. But if the Seahawks win and just destroy the Patriots, the Niners can tell themselves, hey, we lost to the Super Bowl champions. No, there's no harm in
Y-
that. There's no shame in that. We lost to a
Yeah.
team that was better than the rest of the league. Okay, maybe we're right there.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Iggy, you had mentioned Carmen policy a
Mhm.
little earlier. Could I tell the story about Friday? Do you think
Oh, please. Yeah.
the story?
Mhm.
Carmen policy, in all the time I've known him, and Ira has known him, has been. He's a wonderful gentleman, and he likes media. So he arranged that certain people could come up last Friday to in Yountville to a fabulous Italian restaurant called La Bottega, and it was a very intimate group. Ann Killian from the Chronicle and her boyfriend Bob. It was Dan Brown from The Athletic. He used to be at the Mercury News. Matt Mayoko, me, Carmen. I'm going around the table. Carmen's wonderful wife, Gail, and Kirk Reynolds, who was the PR guy deluxe for the 49ers when they were great. And when he was the best PR man ever. And his wife, Terry, and Brian Murphy. And these are all my dear friends. And we went, and we would do it after the Niners got eliminated. But what I didn't know, what it was a belated 80th birthday party for me. I had no idea. I just thought it was some lunch that Carmen had organized. So everybody got cards for me. Everybody went around the table and said something nice about me. I was so shocked. I was speechless. And frankly, I think I got a little teary. And the food, they had a printed menu for us, a little printed menu. And the wine sommelier, Steve, he explained, we started with champagne, and there were like 5 or 6 wine courses. It was phenomenal. And he explained every one and why it went with this course and all of that. And
Jeez.
so I had the most emotional, wonderful Friday. Thank you, Carmen and Gail. And Matt Mayoko, went out of his way to drive me up there and back. And he never told me it was for my 80th birthday. We were chatting and chatting and chatting. And when I got up there, it was happy birthday, Lowell, happy birthday. Wow, what a day. So that's what I did on Friday.
That's a great story. Wow, what a cool guy Carmen is. Anyway.
And here's the other thing. I want to just say one other thing. Carmen makes a Cabernet, a Napa Cabernet called Casa Piena, which in Italian means full house. Piena, plentiful, that kind of thing. And he knows I love it. So for the final, we had steak as the final. I mean, there were so many courses, Iggy. And he opened Casa Piena. Oh, it was like the nectar of the gods. And my friends all chipped in. It's very expensive, and got me a bottle of it, which I haven't, and they all signed it, which I now have at home. So what a day.
I think I've had the Casa Piena. Was that at your retirement party? That's the last time I saw Carmen, right? He was there. Am I wrong?
He brought it.
He
Yeah.
brought it. Yeah, he was
It's
there.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's incredible. Isaac Barraza says, Lowell, what was Eddie DeBartolo's best trait when he was owner, and does Jed York have that trait?
Okay. Passion. The life passion. I will let nothing stand in my way to be great. I have not seen Jed have that. Jed may have other wonderful qualities. He may be a great friend. I imagine he's a great husband. I don't think he has the life passion I'm talking about. And what I want to say is, one of the things that was good about Bill Walsh and Eddie, they both shared it. Bill had it too, and it led to tremendous conflict between them, but tremendous understanding, mutual understanding.
Interesting. And I would also say it seems like Eddie was beyond eager to make decisions, and Jed isn't necessarily.
I love that. Iggy, I love that. I want to tell you something. When I was in college, at Lafayette College in the 60s, I took a lot of classes in political science. And I read a book saying that you could make a case that the Harry Truman was a great president and maybe one of the greatest presidents of the 20th century. And the main reason was he liked to make decisions.
Yep.
Some people don't want to make decisions.
Nope.
He couldn't wait to make decisions.
Yep.
And it's
dropping the bomb.
controversial.
My call.
Dropping the bomb.
It's my call.
It's my call. And I don't think he lost any sleep over it. He made the decision.
He did it twice.
Yep. So I'm bringing that in to say, I'm not saying Eddie would drop the bomb or Bill would drop the bomb, but they shared that quality. They wanted to make decisions, and that's a leader. A leader makes a decision. It's often a wise decision and lives with the consequences and moves on. That's Eddie.
Yep. And I think when he says he wouldn't let 31 years pass, he would have changed something. I think what's been so interesting about Jed's tenure, I mean, he did seem like he wanted to make decisions early on. He was eager to hire Mike Singletary. He was eager to move on from Jim Harbaugh, but since he embarrassed himself with the Tom Sula and Chip Kelly years, it seems like the whole family has been wanting to keep this thing intact as long as possible. But 10 years have passed, no Super Bowls. Eventually, you got to do something.
You do. And it again, they hired a very good defensive coordinator. They may be making room to do something with Lynch. I'll tell you something else, Iggy. Hard decisions. This is looking way down the road. Let's say the Niners don't make the playoffs 2026. Hard decision. I think Lynch is out. I think Kyle should be out.
Yes, I agree.
I do. Even if they get injuries, enough with that already. Even if they get injuries, I think Eddie and Harry Truman and Bill Walsh would say, dudes, this is a make or break season.
Right.
If you don't, we're telling you, if you don't make the playoffs, you're out. If you make the playoffs but get eliminated early, we're going to have to talk. We're going to have to talk. But I think they should be put on notice today. And that's what Harry Truman would do.
Yeah, make a strong decision. Don't just wait around for their contracts to expire and let them leave the building without saying anything. I mean, make a strong decision. If they're not good enough now, do so. If John Lynch isn't the right general manager for this team, don't let him lead another draft. Promote him now. And if the Niners miss the playoffs this upcoming year, then get another coach now, because there are guys. You don't have to find the best offensive play caller in the world to be a head coach. There's defensive guys out there too. Defense is kind of dominating the league right now. Take notice.
Iggy, if they don't make the playoffs, we both agree we would get rid of Lynch. Would you get rid of Kyle?
I would. Absolutely. Yes.
Enough time already.
Enough time. Enough time. And if you're missing the playoffs with the franchise quarterback, like, what's the problem? This is the guy you want.
Yeah. Let's talk a tiny bit about that. Well, people say, well, he's not as good as Josh Allen. But he's not. But he's their franchise quarterback. They're paying him $55 million a year to be the franchise quarterback. They've said he's worth it. I don't care what money they spend on him, but they're saying he's worth it. You can't say he's not the franchise quarterback. Me, I wouldn't have made him the franchise quarterback, but he is. So you got the guy you want. You got your Patrick Mahomes. Go and win.
Yeah, no excuses. And I don't want to hear injury excuses either. If you keep being the most injured team in the league, then move away from the substation or figure it out. You got to figure it out. Yeah. So Dazza says, if Seattle wins the Super Bowl, the Niners should think about trading Brock and building a team around Mac or another quarterback of that level, meaning cheaper.
Wouldn't bother me.
That's another reason I'm personally rooting for the Seahawks, because I like the idea of the NFL finally figuring out that you shouldn't give all the cap space and money to the quarterback. It's not a good way to build a team.
Right, and the Niners just made that mistake.
Yes. XG365 says, if Seattle wins, that means Niners allowed 2 division rivals to win Super Bowls with both teams beating them en route to said Super Bowl.
Not good in your resume.
Yeah, that's something that Bill Walsh didn't do. All right. Let's make these picks official. It's Prize Picks time, Super Bowl edition. Sam Darnold, 229.5 passing yards, more or fewer.
That's a lot of yards.
It's a lot.
Fewer.
Okay. Drake May, 220.5. More or fewer.
Fewer. Iggy, I think this is going to be a grinded out, low scoring game.
Agree. How about Kenneth Walker, Seahawks running back, 74.5 rushing yards, more or fewer?
Hold on a minute. I'm thinking. I'm visualizing. More. Shakily. More shakily.
Shakily. Ramondre Stevenson, the Patriots running back, 50.5 rushing yards, more or fewer?
Fewer.
Interesting. Okay, let's go to receiving, and then we'll be done. Jackson Smith-Njigba, the Seahawks big guy, 95.5 receiving yards.
More.
Okay. And Diggs, not Diggs. How about their tight end, Hunter Henry, 39.5 receiving yards.
Hunter Henry.
Hunter.
More.
Hunter. Okay.
Hunter.
All right. These are Lowell's picks, my dad's picks. Check them out. Consider them for yourself. I'm going to flex them. Well, then put down $100 to win 25 Hondo. Submitting up the picks. And it's that easy. Download Prize Picks yourself. Play $5 and get 50 instantly in lineups when you use promo code COHN. Those are my dad's Super Bowl Prize Picks, and I think they're pretty good, Dad. I like them. You did a good job. You really took them seriously too. I asked him, you'd be like, whew.
Well,
You had to
Tom
visualize
Wolf
the
does
game.
that too. Tom, I could see. He thinks, and he's
Well, Tom's
smarter than I.
incredible.
But yeah,
He's very smart.
he's
You got 148. He's probably 149, 152.
He's in Mensa, Iggy, isn't he? In Mensa,
He's in Mensa. He doesn't like people.
couldn't-
He doesn't want people to know that. But
I
he's in
couldn't
Mensa.
get into Mensa. He's probably like 180.
Joe Shasky, I'm going to call you right now. I got people calling me. I think they're on Radio Row. Dad, this has been our best show of all time. Until then.
Okay, I guess I'll talk to you after the Super Bowl.
I'll talk to you after the Super Bowl, Dad. Great
We'll
show.
have a lot to say. I
Yeah,
love
I
you,
guess so.
Iggy.
Love you guys. Love you, Dad. And I like you guys too. Take care.